Hi LCPs, this is Rolf again, your president of AIESEC International. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm sitting in the library of the AIESEC International offices here in Rotterdam, and I wanted to talk with you today about quality of AIESEC experiences. This year I traveled to a lot of conferences. I met a lot of you in both LCP conferences and regional conferences and sub-regional conferences, and everywhere I went you came up to me and you asked me, Rolf, this big AIESEC, this AIESEC 2015, I believe in it, and my local committee, we are committed to growing, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned about quality of the experiences for my exchange participants, and I'm afraid that AIESEC isn't taking enough care of the quality of our experiences. And then you asked me, what are you guys doing about it? What is AIESEC International doing about it? And then we talked about that. I wanted to talk to you a bit broader about this issue of quality and what we have done, which I believe is a lot, and what we expect you to do, which is also a lot. First I wanted to just tell you that in this library there are documents from the very beginning of AIESEC, from the early 50s, where there's questions of the quality of traineeships. So this discussion about quality is as old as AIESEC itself. And one of the reasons for that is that quality, of course, can be a very subjective notion. And this is something that we as AIESEC International wanted to end this year. I want you to imagine that you are buying a chocolate bar in your local store. And then you are asked, was that a quality chocolate bar? And maybe you liked it, and you think, yeah, that was excellent, it's the best one I ever had. Or maybe you didn't like it, and you said that was not very high quality, I didn't like the taste of it, it wasn't very good. This level of quality we know, we call it satisfaction, and it's quite important. When the company produced the chocolate bar, they also looked at something else, which was they made a specific specification of the ingredients that should be inside of this chocolate bar. And when they are producing it in the factory, they are measuring at regular intervals to what extent the automatic processes are able to put in the specific amounts of sugar, of fats, of oils, of cocoa beans into the chocolate bar to meet the standards that they have set for the chocolate bar. And sometimes those standards even relate to health and safety measures. Sometimes it relates to marketing. It says low-fat chocolate bar, and how low-fat is it really? And there's a standard that might say it should have less than 5% fat, or no fat at all. And that's the standards. And you might like the chocolate a lot, it tasted amazing, but actually it didn't meet the standards. It had mistakes inside of it compared to it had too much fat, or it had too much sugar compared to what was promised. Or you might not like it at all, and it might still meet the standards that they set for it, for the chocolate bar. So these two elements, satisfaction and standards, this is externally what we refer to as quality, and this is what we wanted to introduce to AIESEC as well. Satisfaction has been a measure of success already for a couple of years through our Net Promoter Score system. We have a customer gauge system. You all have logins. You can get the data of that, which is that your EPs answer how likely they are to recommend an experience from 1 to 10. And where they're asked to give comments on that. Why not, anything else to tell us. And based on that, we see why they may or may not like the AIESEC chocolate bar, which is our exchange experiences, as well as our TMP-TLP experiences. We also have standards, and we've had standards for a long time. We call them exchange program policies, and they are standards that we set in the organization, and we try to maintain them. You're well aware of that, but one of the big challenges we have is that sometimes we argue a lot about our exchange program policies. Did we meet it? Did it not? Does it make sense? Does it not? And sometimes it comes in conflict with the satisfaction. Well, I know these are experiences that people really want and they're very satisfied with, and I don't agree with some of the policies. On the other hand, sometimes you say, well, it met the policies, so that's really what quality is. And what I wanted to talk about is, well, we need both. We need customer satisfaction, and we need that because ultimately an organization can only exist and grow because people want what it has to provide. And that's important. And secondly, we need our standards. We need to commit to something as an organization that we're going to stick to. And this year, we worked a lot on the standards. But the place we started when we worked on standards, we started somewhere completely different. Because AIESEC is not an exchange organization. AIESEC is also not a chocolate bar organization. It's a leadership development organization. And where we started was to look at what kind of experience is a leadership development experience. And what we found was that leadership development through an exchange experience in AIESEC happens through an outer and an inner journey that the EPs, the interns, go through while they're on that experience. The outer journey contains elements such as the support system of AIESEC, the interaction with multiple stakeholders, challenging role and environment, and individual responsibilities and goals, those 4 elements. And the inner journey, which is all about the learning and the reflection, is about setting personal goals, reflecting on the experience, understanding what values you have, and reinventing yourself based on that. And this inner journey, this is the framework by which we want to deliver an AIESEC experience, an exchange experience, a leadership development exchange experience in AIESEC. And then the question was, well, what else? And actually what we found is that one of the crucial elements to know if any experience in life delivers and develops leadership is with what purpose you're doing that role. And so if you're going to GCDP and all you do is help some children do some activities, yeah, it might not develop a lot of leadership at all. But if you go there with the intention to bring a change to that community, to enable those children to learn, and you are constantly looking at how can I make that happen, then the very same activities could develop a lot of leadership in you. And the same for GIP. If you go to a company and you are doing a marketing job there and just do some research on the market and yeah, do some tasks around that, that may or may not develop you a lot on a personal level. If you go there with intention to grow the company, how can we reach another market with this company, and what can I do to make that happen, and you do the same tasks, that develops a lot of leadership. And this is called purpose. And that purpose is at the center of the outer and the inner journey. When we talk about standards in AIESEC and what is a quality experience, we wanted not to start with a complicated document of exchange program policies, but we want to start with the outer and the inner journey and what are the things that we can do to really ensure that this happens. Now, out of that, we came to 4 simple things, 4 categories. First of all, what is the logistical support that we are providing in the outer journey of the person going on the internship? What is the job itself on the outer journey that makes sure that it really has challenging environment, really has interaction with multiple stakeholders, really has individual goals and responsibilities? Thirdly, what is the living conditions on the outer journey? So what is the things that enable this person to have it? And fourthly, the whole inner journey. What is our standard about experience and learning that we are setting to ensure leadership development is happening? And out of this discussion, these 4 elements, logistics, job, living, experience and learning, we came up with 16 standards, and they are very simple. And for AIESEC, that is our chocolate bar. These 16 standards represent what makes us happy in terms of delivering an AIESEC experience, and I'm going to take you through them very briefly. First of all, very simply, is visa and work permit support. I don't think I have to explain this. How can you have a proper outer journey if you are not legal, if you are not there on the conditions of the country? How can you develop anything if you are not being supported properly to have the right documentation, the right papers, the right registration? Secondly, on logistics, is arrival pickup. Pick up the EPs at the airport when they arrive, or at the train station, where agreed. And thirdly, departure support. Make sure that you provide this person with the support to leave your country, to leave your city when they finish internship. It's very simple. 3 simple logistical requirements: visa and work permit support, arrival pickup, and departure support. Secondly is about the living, and there's also 3. First of all is a travel insurance. Yeah, this is about life and safety and health regulations. And we are not sending abroad any more EPs that do not have a travel insurance when they go abroad. It's a standard. That's it. Secondly is about accommodation. And there we're putting the stand that the standard of accommodation has to match exactly what it says in the TN form. And if it doesn't match what it says in the TN form, then it does not meet the standards. We don't specify what kind of standard a TN form has to have, but it has to correspond, because that relates to the outer journey that the person committed to. They said, this is what I want to be a part of. Thirdly, is about basic living costs. So sometimes that's salary, sometimes that's food, sometimes that's transport cost. Again, the same. It has to correspond with what it says in the TN form, because that's the outer journey that the exchange participant committed to. That's it. Living is about insurance, accommodation, and basic living costs. 3 more things. Then it's about the job itself. And the job matters a lot. And we know that depending on the actual internship that somebody's on, it's going to develop or not develop that person. And again, 5 standards under that, very simple. First one, job description. It has to correspond to the job description in the TN form. It has to correspond, because that's the outer journey that the EP chose to go on. This is the experience that I want, and has to correspond. If it doesn't correspond, then it doesn't meet the standards. Secondly, working hours. That's at least 35 hours for a GIP, at least 25 hours a week for a GCDP, because it's about the intensity of the experience, to really experience something that changes you, that impacts you fundamentally. Thirdly is duration. Nothing new there. 6 to 78 weeks for our internships. Fourth is the first day of work. And this is about the support system. So AIESEC takes the trainee to the first day of work. Every time, AIESEC representative is there. And finally, in the job description, it is not just a general area of responsibility that they have. Within the first week of being in the role, they have very clear individual responsibility, individual goals in the job description that says, this is what you need to deliver. And the reason for that is that this corresponds to challenging environment and individual responsibility in the outer journey that really, we believe, develops leadership. Job description, working hours, duration of internship, first day of work, and individual responsibility and goals. Finally, experience and learning. This is the inner journey. This is where we translate somebody going to another country, doing an internship, having a cultural experience, into learning and leadership development. We have 5, again, simple but crucial standards. First one is AIESEC purpose. And I talked a lot about the purpose, why you go on an internship. And the person, before they go on an AIESEC internship, has to be provided with what is the purpose of AIESEC. Why are we here? Why do we do this? Because we are trying to make positive change agents. We are trying to create leaders from our youth generation. Secondly, it's about expectation setting. And expectation setting relates to simple elements such as what is the standards, what is it that you're going to see when you get there, how's it going to be. Thirdly, it's about preparation, and this is about simple things such as cultural preparation, security preparation, preparation about the country and the living standards that are there. The fourth one is host-facilitated learning. So that is that when you go on the internship, at least once during your internship, you have a host-facilitated learning space. An offer of a space to capture your learning, to reflect upon it, and to say, who am I becoming? And the same, a home-facilitated learning, one space as a minimum to really, when you come back, be offered the opportunity to reflect and learn who have I become, and what values I have, and what do I want to do with my life based on this experience. It sounds very simple, and there's nothing here that should be new to you. AIESEC purpose, expectation setting, preparation, host-facilitated learning, and home-facilitated learning. 5 experiential and learning standards of AIESEC. And these 16, that is the standards of AIESEC. And by the end of our term, in 3 months, we are going to have a system up online by which this is measured for every experience. Our EP and TN managers are going to be measuring each other and say, yeah, this was provided, yes, no, yes, no. So we know to what extent our chocolate bar is fulfilled in a quality measure. Satisfaction. The customer tells you why they like it, why they don't like it, and this gives you invaluable information to change the way you deliver it, the way you market it, the way you package the experience, the way the customer you approach. Standards. This is our promise. This is an AIESEC experience. And together, this is quality in AIESEC. I know I've talked for a long time, but it's because I'm passionate about this. The final thing I wanted to talk to you about is strategy on quality. And I want to share with you my experience when I was MCP. When I was MCP of AIESEC in Norway, 2010-11, we wanted to grow a lot. And in the end, we grew around 100%. The growth driver back then was development traineeships, OGCDP, we know it as now. And we grew a lot. And we were promoting go to Africa, go to Asia, go to India, go to South America, to students in Norway, and there was a lot of market for that. People wanted to go. They were excited to make an impact, to have a contribution. And the truth is that we recruited people not knowing what experiences we were sending them on. And after my term, we celebrated our results. We were very happy with that. The next term, they had issues. EPs came back and they were not happy. They were not satisfied. And back then, our reaction was to blame the other side. Well, they didn't meet the standards. They didn't meet the XPP. This isn't an AIESEC experience as we thought of it. But what I realize now is that this approach was very wrong. We recruited people and sent them abroad without ever speaking to the other side, without ever understanding what was the experience we were going to provide, without co-delivering and saying, okay, let's work with the incoming side to create an experience together, and let's set expectations around that. And while people were abroad, we weren't in touch with them, we weren't talking to them, and we didn't have anyone responsible for that. It was like, okay, goodbye, get on the plane, and see you in 6 weeks or 8 weeks. And that was it. And I think AIESEC has moved beyond this. First of all, you have an MPS system, and you know what is working and what is not working. And as a local committee president, you guys, in front of the biggest summer peak AIESEC has ever seen, you guys just need to look at this data, and you need to make sure you are incorporating that into your processes. Secondly, no experience in AIESEC should be delivered without a partnership anymore. No experience should be delivered without you speaking to the other side, agreeing specifically on all these elements and how they're going to be delivered, and ensuring that these standards are like they're going to be. And this means going into specifics. Show me pictures of the accommodation. It means let me speak to the NGO they're going to work with. It means let me understand the kind of goals they're going to have. It means please explain to me the kind of learning you're going to facilitate for my trainees. And same on the incoming side. You set the demands to the sending entity and you say, please explain to me what are you doing to explain the AIESEC purpose to your trainees. Show me the agenda of your outgoing preparation seminar. What kind of learning are you developing in these people? And what kind of AIESECers are you sending? And how are you setting the right expectations on the standards of AIESEC before you're sending somebody abroad? And it's not difficult. And actually, this is the uniqueness of AIESEC. You have the opportunity to work with local committees and members from somewhere else in this world to co-deliver and change somebody's life. Only in AIESEC will you have that opportunity. And I wish for you to take it and to do the best with it, because it's unique and it's magical. And that's the expectation from us to you. We are providing you with clear two frameworks, satisfaction system, and standards based on what is an AIESEC experience. And based on these two, you're expected to co-deliver, to address the issues, put HR structures in place, and commit to a specific target that you set for your MPS with your MC. This is how we're going to deliver an AIESEC experience. Thank you for listening, and I wish you to have an amazing, amazing day. Take care. Bye.